Hi, this is Gary Mitchell. This is podcast number 178 in my series dating back many years. This podcast is brought to you by Ignition from Inductive Automation and reminding you that the Ignition Community Conference is coming up in mid-September in Folsom, California. Unfortunately, it is sold out. It's unfortunate if you haven't already applied, but it's a great conference talking to geeks about SCADA and IoT. This podcast is also brought to you by Manufacturing Day. It's a new sponsor for just a temporary period of time. By 2025, the Manufacturing Institute and Deloitte project that manufacturers must fill 3.5 million skilled jobs. And the workforce skills gap is very real. On October the 5th this year, Manufacturing Day, thousands of manufacturers will do something about this by opening their doors to those interested in manufacturing careers. Give students and educators in your area a chance to discover modern manufacturing. You can sign up to host an event and learn more at mfgday.com/2018. Thank you to Inductive Automation and to Manufacturing Day for sponsoring this podcast. What problem are you trying to solve? If you're a technologist, sometimes you are just trying to solve technology problems. I think that becomes a problem with a company like, let's just say Facebook, because they're in the news right now a lot. And one of their problems is, technology speaking, they can do all kinds of stuff, and then they see a new challenge and they solve a technology problem. However, many people think Facebook should be solving or helping to solve society problems or social problems. You know, it's one thing to say I can connect the world, but are all connections good? Are there some things that we could solve technology that we can make a lot of money, but actually we're kind of skating some kind of line or over the line on ethics or morals? Sometimes we need to think a little bit bigger about what problem we are trying to solve. Let me broach another idea about a problem to solve. Companies for many years have been trying to do open office floor plans. Now they claim they're doing this to foster collaboration. However, we really know the real reason, which is we need to squeeze more people into that square foot space so that we can reduce costs. So, if I'm a financial guy, I'm looking at that too. However, what's the real problem we have? Is it collaboration? Is it cost? The real problem is getting work done. And there's a blog I read called Signal versus Noise. It's from the folks, Jason Fried and the folks at BaseCamp. They brought up an interesting idea. We've had an open office floor plan for literally centuries. John Locke was a young man doing his studying and writing in one of these. Karl Marx was a middle-aged man shirking his family responsibilities while his family lived very poorly while he was researching and writing Das Kapital. What is this institution? It's called a library. I like to grab a coffee at the local coffee shop occasionally and run down to the library and work. It's an open office floor plan. There are just tables scattered around all over the place and an occasional carrel, but there's also an occasional room. So what's the problem to solve is, how do I get an open floor plan and yet get work done? And what the Signal versus Noise blog post suggested was library rules. We sit and we work. If we want to go talk, we go into a room, and for instance, the BaseCamp office, for those that actually go to the office, has a delineated room with a different color carpet and a door, and so it clearly says this is a place where you can go have a conversation, go back out to your desk, table, whatever, and get work done. I thought, it's kind of it's a genius idea. It's one of those things where I look at this and that and go, oh yeah, what if we brought the library to work? Because we can go work in the library. So that's another problem to solve. Speaking of collaboration, so we wanted an office floor plan theoretically so we could collaborate more, meaning people could stop by and chat. which is more or less not collaboration. However, we've been trying to solve technology through technology collaborations for years. I've been writing about it for almost 20 years, I bet. And getting people that are maybe remote and working together and collaborating on a project or a document or a project, whatever that might be. And then I've been watching my grandkids the last few years. Let's see, it's probably been 4 years that my grandson discovered Minecraft. And then a couple of years into it, he's building all kinds of stuff. And then my granddaughter, who's like almost exactly 2 years younger, gets an iPad. She's in a Minecraft. Go up there one day, and I'm sitting there, and they each have their iPad, and they're sitting side by side. They're working on the same landscape. They're each building. In fact, they might be even building the same building and populating it with people that they each design. And they're in the same little world. They collaborate on the iPad. They collaborate talking. Hey, look at what I'm doing. I'm doing this. Yeah, and then I need a pig, and I need one of these things or whatever. And they just so from about 7 years old to now, 7 or 8 years old, and now I think they just turned 9 and 11. So it's been a few years now, and I watch them, and it's just so natural for them to collaborate over the technology and talking and work on the same project. Golly, we've been trying to do that for years. There are collaborative things. We can solve the collaboration problem with technology plus conversation, plus some way to talk in real time. A lot of these ideas came up because I had an interview with Gary Freburger, who's president of the process automation group at Schneider Electric, and Peter Martin, whom I've chatted with for like 20 years to get about as many ideas as I can possibly get from him. He's now vice president of marketing there. It's the unit that used to be called Foxborough. In fact, it still kind of is. And because I had a family vacation planned, I couldn't go to the Foxborough user conference, so I had an opportunity to spend about an hour with them on the phone. And we've talked about this before, but Peter Martin brings up, what problem are we trying to solve? We have been for many years solving technological problems. Oh, we can put instrumentation on this process or this unit or whatever. And then we can do some things, and then we can digitalize it, and we can do control through the operator station or whatever. We can take the operator out of the immediate area of the plant so they don't have to go out and slog through the rain and the snow and the mud and everything, or into dangerous environments. They could sit in their concrete house and surrounded by screens and look at stuff. But most often what they're doing is optimizing a process. So they'll look at the PID or the PID loops and various other things in the instrumentation, and maybe they see something's getting a little out of whack and they tweak it and it goes back into tune. However, that process being in tune technologically may not be in tune from a profit standpoint. Maybe I'm using extra energy to get that thing back to some optimum state, when a near optimum state from a process point of view puts out the product that I need within the tolerances of what the specification is, and maybe I, for example, burn up less energy. So that means my cost is reduced, and that means my profitability goes up. So what's my problem? I'm solving a business problem. I'm solving profitability. The operator could do that just as easily, given the sufficient amount of data presented in a way that the operator can understand and respond to, so that I can solve a bigger problem. It's not just the process problem. It's not just a technology problem. It's a business problem. I need to solve business problems. So we're getting just tons of things. The Internet of Things, I write about the Internet of Things, and it's cool. People are doing a lot of stuff with it, but all it really means is it's a way to collect all this data and do some kind of process with it, some analytics or databases to store it or filter it or whatever it might need to be done, and then present it in such a way that humans can make proper decisions. Well, to do all that, we need to know what decision do we need to make. What is the problem we are solving? Are we solving a technology problem of just feeding more data? Are we solving a business problem by getting the proper data to the proper person to make a profit and loss, return on investment, those kinds of business decisions that need to be made? I'll guarantee you that from the plant manager on up especially, but hopefully the plant manager's team, the regional manager's team, the division or whoever it is, all the way up, they're interested in those business problems. And they could be anything from reducing inventory, work in process inventory, improving quality, getting more throughput, better return on investment, improved profitability. All those things are required to, keep us in jobs. When I've got a lot of experience in manufacturing. I go back more years than I care to admit. And what I've seen time and time again, and I'm seeing people like Tim O'Reilly, who established a publishing empire in the technology computing business, who's pointed this out. The problem hasn't been a technical problem for, it's not because we have robots that our employment is down or that we might lose jobs to overseas or whatever that might be. It's always been a management problem. It's executive decisions, it's bad management, it's short-sighted management, and perhaps it's not getting the kind of information I need to make a good rational decision to actually improve the company and the process. So as I say, what problem are you trying to solve? Are you asking the right questions? Are you solving the right problems? Are you marshaling your tools together so that you can, solve those problems to protect jobs, to improve profits, to make it a better workplace, to bring more people in, make it enticing for new people to come in and get jobs? Those sort of things are very important to us right now. So this is Gary Minchell, wrapping up podcast number 178. Brought to you by Ignition from Inductive Automation, and also the folks at Manufacturing Day, reminding you could help in this whole workforce thing by bringing new people in and showing them that modern manufacturing is actually cool. So help bring them in at mfgday.com/2018. It's Gary Minchell. Have a good day.